See, is Miss Hicks here? Does that mean that
Hello.
Mr. Hicks is free to go or,
Yes, Your Honor, we'll get a reset date.
yeah, sorry, Mr. Hicks, you're free to go, but I used to represent you, so I cannot now hear your case.
Number 5, Stephanie Tyler versus Nathan Tyler.
It's been reset to March 19th.
Number 6, Ariella Berlin versus Johnny Tidwell.
That's been dismissed.
Number 7, Jennifer Wright versus Hope Ram.
It's been reset to February 26th.
Number 8, Lauren Fulcher versus Keith Wozniak.
It's been reset to March 19th.
9, Carmen Gaxiola versus Antonio Manzo.
All right, Mr. Manzo is here.
Do a second call
He's here.
on
Mr. Antonio Manzo, he's here.
for Carmen Gaxiola.
Is she the respondent?
It's his petition.
Is his petition. So is Carmen Gazziola here? All right, so do you need to reset this? Or or does he need to stay?
Yeah, she was served on December 11th, so we'll do second call.
Okay, so I'm gonna mark it for second call. We'll see if she shows up.
Should be, I just got confirmation from him yesterday. It's not Stephen Robinson, he has a stand-in today.
I'll make sure something's not here.
And the stand-in is John Most. And that's Maust.
Number 10, Kimberly Snyder versus Marcus Carrillo.
It's been reset to February 26th.
Number 11, Tracy Clemens versus Maurice Ingram Jr.
Second call.
Yes, sir.
Number 12, Amanda Joseph versus Tyson St. Catherine.
It's been dismissed.
Carla Gilbert versus Daniel Greenberg.
And Ms. Gilbert is here, Mr. Greenberg is appearing via Zoom. We can mark that for hearing.
So this is for hearing. All right.
Number 14, Melissa Hall versus Marco Clay.
That's been dismissed.
15, Charles Pittman versus Whitney Harbin.
It's been reset to March 19th.
16, Diana Moeller versus Jason Moeller.
It's been reset to February 26th.
17, Faith Owens versus Douglas Owens Jr.
It's been reset to February 26th, and we'll talk to Mr. Owen.
It's been reset to February 26th, but they said they would talk to you.
18, Amanda Heron versus Ross Culverhouse.
It's been dismissed.
19, Leela Yaring versus Daryl Yarrington. Sorry.
Good morning.
Yarrington, I haven't been able to get in touch with him at all. Trying to, we can stay on the call, but
I will. Thank you, ma'am.
20, Alicia Hamblett versus Banshawn Brown.
Mr. Brown is here.
That is a contempt against Mr. Brown.
All right. We'll get you an affidavit, sir, for you to be looking at.
Number 1 and number 2, Peggy BGO versus Jonathan Sanchez, and Isis Davison versus Jonathan Sanchez.
And
Right.
Your Honor, is your Sanchez picked up on last time we was out and here, and I wasn't really his attorney, so.
All right, so this is for discussion. Thank you.
Number 3, add-on of Laura Lacy versus David Schmidt.
Mr. Trett is here.
And then the attempt against Mr. Trent.
All right, we'll get you an affidavit, sir. Go through this docket for a moment. I did see a few people come in. Is anyone here on Juan Moreno versus Alma Moreno?
Minor contacted our office and there was an expected dismissal in that matter.
Yes, we're gonna dismiss that. She filed an order to dismiss, but without the state's permission, she wasn't able to do that, so I'll handle the dismissal today.
Okay, so but I can take this one off the docket.
Yes, my apologies. for
That's
missing
all
that.
right. All right, and then I'm gonna do affidavits here pretty soon. The first one will be Larissa Beliak versus Alexei Karasev. Has anyone in the Carrie Ann Gore versus Trenton Gore case appeared? And who are you, sir?
He's my client, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Gore.
He's now here.
All right, I'll mark it for discussion. Thank
Yeah.
you. Second affidavit I'll take is Pamela Ford versus Timothy Inman. Right, on the Carolyn Odell Martin versus Christopher Martin case, how long do we expect that to take?
Thinking at least 2 hours.
Well, it'll only take 2 hours on a motion day, but I'll mark you for 2 hours.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then in the case of Margaret Coleman Anderson versus Jarrett Anderson, how long do we expect that to take?
My guess, Your Honor, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay. In the case of Lindsay Balcom Vitro versus Dominic Vitro, how long do we expect that to take? That to take. Has anyone come in on Carmen Gaxiola versus Antonio Aguaya Manzo? I know Mr. Manzo's here. Right? Yes, ma'am.
Number 25 was the second call.
Okay. Has anyone come in
Yes.
on Chanel Aliano versus Dustin Aliano? Versus Antonio Aguaya Manzo. I know Mr. Manzo's here. Yes, ma'am.
Number 25 was the second call.
Anyone appeared on Tracy Clemens versus Maurice Ingram Jr.? Has anyone come in
Yes.
on Chanel? Right, how long do we expect Carla Guilford versus Daniel Greenberg? I know Mr. Manzo's here.
Probably about an hour.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone appeared on Tracy Clemens versus Maurice Ingram Jr.? Anyone appeared on Layla Yarrington versus Darrell Yarrington? Versus Daniel Greenberg. Yarrington. Okay. All right. Well, I don't think I'm issuing CAPUSs and attachments yet, but I did see some people come in, so I'm just trying to. Anyone appeared? They're here. All right. The next affidavit I'll hear is Alicia Hamlet versus Banshawn Brown. And then I'll hear on affidavits, Laura Lacy versus David Trett. Well, I'll talk to him. We'll see about that. All right. So I'm gonna, let me get an order on these hearings first, and then I will take up the affidavits. I'm holding court. So you just need to be patient. If you'd come onto the docket when court started, you might know a little bit better what was going on. So sit tight. So Maurice Ingram is here. All right, have we given him an affidavit? Excuse me? We're gonna give you an affidavit to complete to see if you're eligible for the court to appoint an attorney for you. I want to make sure that these are all of my contested hearings today. I have Vitro v. Vitro, Martin v. Martin, Guilford v. Greenberg, and Anderson v. Anderson. Are those all of the contested hearings? They're ready. Okay, great. So that's going to be the order that I'm going to call. Vitro v. Vitro first, Martin v. Martin second, Guilford v. Greenberg third, and Anderson v. Anderson fourth. And then I'm going to take up the affidavits now so I can get attorneys appointed to those who don't have them, and then I'll let you start your discussions. First, I have Alexi Karasev.
I'm not asking, you were kind, you put us number 2, but I'm definitely the longest of the 4 hearings. I didn't know if you were putting me, probably should be number 4. I mean, I'd like to go number 2, but I
Well-
thought there was a mess up maybe possibly on that.
There wasn't. I intended on letting those who are paying attorneys to do their attorney cases first.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to make sure on that. Appreciate it.
All right, Alexi Karasev, come on up, sir, to the podium, please. If you go to the podium right there, please, sir. Mhm. If you would, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you provide is the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, sir, you completed an affidavit of indigency. Is all the information contained on this affidavit true and correct?
That's correct. I have some information with me here as requested by the court.
Okay, this is just right now, all I'm doing is determining whether you're eligible for the court to appoint an attorney to represent you, because you've been charged with contempt, which means that you could lose your liberty today. You could actually go to jail today.
I
And
understand.
so since that is a potential consequence, you have the right to have an attorney appointed if I find that you're indigent. So give me just a second. Let me look at your sheet
Thank you.
here.
Judge.
When is the last time you have had a full-time job?
April 18th, 2024.
And why have you not worked since then?
I was unable to obtain work.
You're unable to find a job?
Yes. I was not for the lack of applying and seeking.
Where are you applying?
Well, if I'll show you the list, that would be probably about 15 pages long.
Right, give me the top 2.
Kroger, ASML, if it's available, cheap company, Intel, United Health Services, Merck.
Are you currently driving for Uber?
I do, yes, to support in the meanwhile my financial situation.
So I see your AGI for 2023. Do you don't own a home?
No,
Where do you lease?
yes,
You lease. Do you have a vehicle?
my wife does.
Ms. Dacus, are you available to accept this appointment?
Yes.
Sir, I'm going to declare you indigent, appoint Susan Dacus to represent you, assess a $50 administrative fee and a $500 partial reimbursement for the cost of court-appointed counsel. And I'm going to go through all of these and then I'll let Ms. Dacus and Ms. Johnson meet their clients after I get these done. Let's see, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, if you would, please, sir, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide is the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And are you working anywhere, sir?
No, ma'am.
Well, let me start too. You completed this affidavit of indigency. Is all the information contained on the affidavit true and correct? And why haven't you worked?
I used to play poker for a living.
Sorry,
I used to play poker for a living.
you play poker for a living?
Yes, ma'am. I used to.
Right. So, but why haven't you gotten a job
I didn't.
outside of
At that
poker?
time, I didn't do the job. I can pay all my bills from poker.
Okay. And are you able-bodied? Do you have any physical ailments?
My back.
Has Social Security declared you disabled? Has the doctor given you a note that you cannot, do you have any weight restrictions? Ms. Johnson, are you available to represent? All right, sir, I'm going to declare you indigent, appoint Karen Johnson to represent you, assess a $50 administrative fee and a $500 partial reimbursement for the cost of court-appointed counsel.
Okay.
Hang tight, Ms. Johnson, after I go through all of these, she'll be with you in a moment to talk to you. I will, thank you. All right, Mr. Inman. Sir, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide is the truth? All right, and now you've completed this affidavit of indigency. Is all the information contained in the affidavit true and correct? All right, so when is the last time you've worked?
Been over a year. Actually, it's been like 4 years that I lost the job I was working and I went to TCAT trade school in '62. I got my HVAC license. Right at the end, the tornadoes coming through Lewis County, I was coming through and I met the lady that a tree rolled on her house. And I was taking the tree off her house. I didn't have any help. Trying to drive in so it didn't run. I took a big limb and was pushing the log off. When it slipped, I went out and I tore both rotator cuffs. My stomach muscle re-aggravated a injury to my sciatic nerve, and I broke my neck when I was younger. And that's the problem is I'm taking physical therapy, but it's getting worse. It's like I had my operation on my left arm, 5 injections in my right arm. Some days I could barely get out of bed and walk. And I don't want to be this way. I want to get healthy, but it's just being up and down. Down 2 days in bed where I can't move to just like I say, I didn't get the license to sit at home. Nobody hired me with arms, can't raise my arms down. I provided a year ago the pictures of the operation pictures showing I had no muscle on my right arm.
All right, this isn't about, this is just right now. It's not about your case. It's right now just about whether
That's why I can't get a job.
you're eligible for me to appoint an attorney. I am going to find you indigent. Ms. Dacus, are you available to take this appointment? All right, I'm going to find you indigent, assess a $50 administrative fee and $150 fee towards the partial reimbursement for court-appointed counsel. All right, do we have any other date? Yeah.
More, but he's still working on it.
Okay. Now, but you said there's someone who wasn't going to complete an affidavit? Mr. Trett. Mr. Trett, come up. And is he on the circuit or the
He's number 3. I don't very long.
3? Right, Mr. Trett, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll provide is the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so why is it that you do not want to have the court look at having an attorney appointed for you?
I can. I'm no attorney. I just didn't know that I would need one at all.
Okay. Well, you're in a courtroom
Last time I was here, I just talked to,
You're subject to incarceration. There's a contempt against you. If I find you're in contempt, one of the possible consequences is that you don't leave here today on your own volition.
understand what you're telling me.
And I gotta tell you, I, unlike maybe what some people might think, I do not relish that moment when the deputy comes over and places the defendant in handcuffs.
Well, I understand completely what you're saying.
And the thing is that you don't know the rules of civil procedure. You don't know the rules of evidence. You don't know the rules of criminal procedure. And all of these attorneys, they do. That puts you at a distinct disadvantage. And you don't need any disadvantage when you're looking at incarceration as a possible consequence. So you say that you can hire your own attorney. Is there any objection from the state to resetting this to our next child support docket to allow him the opportunity to hire an attorney?
No.
All right, what is that next docket? Can you hire an attorney and be back by February 26th?
Yeah.
Okay. We will give you a reminder slip and we're going to reset your case to February 26th. Come back with an attorney.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Was there I might be getting messed up, a Clemens v. Ingram and Ford v. Inman. I know we did one. I can't remember if that jet, are you Mr. Inman or Mr. Ingram? Inman.
Mr. Ingram is still completing
Mr. Ingram's still completing his affidavit. All right. Well, where is Mr. Ingram?
that.
All right. Mr. Ingram,
Mr. Ingram.
how are we coming on that affidavit? Well, I'm just gonna sit here and wait. We're waiting on you. Because you see, I'm gonna start a hearing that's gonna last at least 30 minutes. And if you want an attorney, I need to get one appointed to you now so they can get working instead of waiting for this hearing. Just complete your affidavit. Tell you what, I'm gonna step off for just one moment and I'll be back.
She's got all of it.
All right, circuit change report now in session. ABC.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I want to introduce Deputy Davidson. She's with the child support.
Welcome.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm in the DHS office in Nashville, so I'm here just assisting with them.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. Nice to meet you. All right, Mr. Ingram, come up. Mr. Ingram, if you would, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll provide is the truth? All right. You completed this affidavit of indigency. Is all the information contained on this affidavit true and correct? And you earn $150 a week?
Yes.
And I'm ready for Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, are you available to accept this appointment? All right, sir, I'm going to declare you indigent, appoint Ms. Johnson to represent you, assess a $50 administrative fee. But since you have a job, I'm not going to charge you anything towards the partial reimbursement for court-appointed counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor, for this wonderful discussion.
I will. Right. Is there, before I start this hearing on vitro, is there anything that the state needs the court for?
Don't think so.
All right, then let's start with, it's on the Chancery docket. Number 24, Lindsay Balcom Vitro versus Dominic Vitro. All right, we can pull one more chair up to that table, maybe have Miss Balcom Vitro. Whose petition for modification is this?
And according to state records, this is the Dominic Vitro's petition for modification.
Okay. Mr. Spanos, do you want to begin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now remember, y'all told me 30 minutes.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll call my client and stand.
All right.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Can you say your name for the record?
Dominic Salvatore Vitro,
Thank you, Mr. Vitro. And can you tell the court where you are employed?
FedEx Express.
Thank you. And I'd like to pass the witness a document, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
This is my W-2 for 2024.
Thank you. And what is your income? If you look on that front page and go to the top left corner where it says Medicare wages and tips, what's that income for 2024?
$245,081.02. Sorry, squeaky chair.
And how much do you currently pay in child support, sir?
$2,358.
No, I'm not afraid to make that an exhibit. Apologize.
Yes. Any objection? All right, it's W2 will be Exhibit 1. 2024 W2.
And if you could repeat the answer to that last question, Mr. Petro.
22,358.
Thank you. And
I think that's
how many children do you have, Ms. Malcolm?
2,
And how many children do you have from another mother?
1,
One. And what is the residential schedule for that child?
50/50 custody.
What's that child's name?
Dominic Antonio Vitro.
And how much do you pay for Dominic in child support?
1,032.
So he's with you in the home 50% of the time?
Yes, and sometimes.
Now, what is your understanding of your son's childcare needs when he's with your ex-wife?
Daycare during the school year, school hours.
And why is that?
He's underage. He's not in kindergarten yet.
And what grade is he in now?
Sonny is in he's in kindergarten or daycare, and Houston is in kindergarten.
So did the daycare costs change from when you were married to this school year?
Yes, sir.
And if I could pass you a document. Identify that document, Mr. Petro.
This is the Williamson County School Child Care Statement for Houston and Sonny for the time that Houston was in daycare, and then from when Houston was no longer in daycare.
And is there any cost for childcare during the summer?
No, sir.
Is there any cost during spring break,
No, sir.
fall break?
No, sir.
And does the cost change per day?
No, sir.
I'm sorry,
I don't think so. No, sir.
but it is a per day cost of $40
Yes, sir.
plus an interest charge.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Vitro. Hand you up a document, just one moment.
Mhm.
Did you go through this with me and look at what the cost was for this current school year?
Yes, sir.
And did we extrapolate out what the cost will be for the remainder of the school year?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to pass you this document. You can make that last handout exhibit, Your Honor.
Any objection to the statement from Williamson County School Child Care as Exhibit 2? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You recall looking at the summary
Yes, sir.
and help to prepare it.
Yes, sir.
Now, we realized that on 1014, was there an error in what we marked down?
Yes, sir.
And is that reflected with a handwritten change there?
Yes, yes, sir.
And if we add up from 7:30, when childcare resumed the school year, and projected through the end of the school year, did we recalculate what that was with that adjusted 1014 number?
Yes, sir.
And what's that adjusted amount for the total?
$7,755.90.
Okay, and what does that do to a 12-month average?
$646.33.
Thank you. How much do you pay for health insurance for your children?
About $100 a month for the 2 of them.
Vitro. When you prepared this schedule, Mr. Vitro, did you compare it to the Williamson County school calendar?
Yes, sir.
If I could pass you a copy of this. If we could make that summary and exhibit, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
The exhibit 3.
Thank you, sir.
Is this a school calendar you were looking at when you helped create that summary?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, if we could mark that the next number exhibit.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
The exhibit 4.
What was the date of your divorce, Mr. Vitro?
Signed paperwork was like the first, 2nd of January of this year. 3rd.
Thank you. That concludes my questions for Mr. Vitro, Your Honor.
Cross-examination,
No, Your Honor.
right? Does the state have any cross-examination? Right, great. Thank you, Mr. Beecher. Please step in.
Want these papers or not?
Mr. Aiken will take care of those. You have any other witnesses, Mr.
I have Ms. Walton to stand, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Balcom?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good morning, Ms. Balcom. I just have a few questions for you today. Where are you employed?
Williamson County Schools, Chavez Street.
And do you get paid on a 12-month cycle? Do you receive pay on a 12-month cycle, or do you get your pay in a 10-month period?
17.
The 12 months? Okay. I'd like to hand you this exhibit, Ms. Balcom. Ms. Balcom, is this a copy of a pay stub of yours from last year?
Yes, sir.
And the date on this is, the period for this is 11/10/2024 through 11/30/2024.
Yes, sir.
So this is 11 months of your pay. And you would have gotten paychecks in December as well, since you're on the 12-month cycle. Okay. Now, if you look at.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to speak up and speak into the microphone. So like if you can tell how I'm just talking to you now. I've been told I'm loud, so you may can hear me, but you are soft-spoken. And so I'm gonna need you to speak into the microphone so I can hear the difference.
So you would have received paychecks in December as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Very good.
if I look at your total, and I'm looking 2 different places to find that, Ms. Balcom. If you're on the top left, there's a total under that first chart. What is that number?
The current or the year-to-date?
This year-to-date total.
Year-to-date is $69,085.66.
Okay, and if we go over to the middle of the page where it says advice totals in this bottom right chart. I'll point to it to help direct you. Are you with me where it says advice chart and the advice totals in blue banner?
Yes,
Okay, under that, it has a gross pay, and is that the same number you just told me for the year to date?
yes, sir.
Okay, $69,085.66.
Yes, sir, for gross.
So to figure out your gross monthly, I could simply take that number and divide it by 11, correct?
Yes,
And if I do that and the number on a calculator, because I can't do that math in my head either, is $6,280.51. Would that be your monthly income, your gross monthly income?
I guess.
Because that's what you earned over 11
Okay.
months, and your 12 months should add up the same way, correct?
Yes,
Okay. If we could make that an exhibit, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Be exhibit 5.
Thank you. And Ms. Balcom, you also have a child outside of your marriage with Mr. Vitro.
I do.
Okay, and that child resides in your home as well,
Yes, sir.
just like Dominic would reside in his home.
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
On the child that lives in your home, how often is it a 1/8 full-time,
Full-time.
three, okay, thank you. And I'm a little confused about one thing. Did you and Mr. Vitro divorce in January of this year? Or when did you divorce?
Not this 2020.
January of 2024
Yes.
is when you divorced.
Yeah, we had mediation in December
Okay,
and official paperwork was filed and signed. I think it was January 3rd.
okay, of 2024.
Yes.
I think I just wrote it down incorrectly.
Sorry.
All right, thank you. That makes sense. Any, I guess you get to cross.
If I could fast forward a document, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
What is this document?
This is my W-2 for 2024.
Your W-2 for 2024? And what is the number when it says Medicare wages? What is the number in that Medicare wages?
$70,167.91.
And is this from Williamson County School System?
Yes, sir.
And do you have any other income from any other sources?
No,
Does this reflect accurately what you made this year
Yes,
from the
sir.
Williamson County School System? Previously, there was a document passed forward,
A
regarding,
question before you do, and this is a question for the attorneys. Why are these numbers not adding up? Where,
we discussed that, and I have absolutely no answer for you, Your Honor.
All I can think of, Your Honor, is some of her income is non-taxable. And that'd be the only reason it wouldn't be reflected in her taxable income or gross taxes. And there may be something, the way it's paid through the county or a benefit that's monetized but not taxed. That's all I could tell. That's all I could think to tell you. Because, I mean, that we know that the pay stub comes from, directly from the school, and they're keeping track of what they're paying her. But I think we all agree that you picked it up right away, that she probably earned more than a few $100s in the month of December.
Yeah.
She's on a 12-month cycle pay. I don't-
do you have more than just the November pay stub? Do you have her other pay stubs?
It's just the pay stubs, pay stubs, fine. That's why I asked her about it and asked her about her December pay.
Okay, go ahead.
You were passed forward, or
previously entered was a list of staff holidays. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And also a summary of what you pay for childcare. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
If I could have present the witness of exhibit 3 and exhibit 4. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, please. On exhibit 3, the summary, if you look at December 17th, 2024, it says you paid $164.80. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then if you refer to the Williamson County staff calendar, if there is an in-service day, do you still have to pay for childcare?
If teachers are in session, childcare is open. It's only when the system's closed.
It's only when the system is closed. So if you have to be in school, you pay the full amount of 206, correct?
sir.
Even if it goes along with this, when the children are out, you still have to be in school that day and have to pay for care.
Yeah, if we are required to be in school, if school is open, or teachers are required to be there, daycare is open.
So on February 14th of this year, they have a projected number of 164.80.
I mean, if we are in school, if teachers are, on a work schedule, then
But on-
daycare's open.
February 14th on the staff school calendar, it says district-wide professional development day.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't,
I'll give her that day. Is it going to change the average?
It is gonna change the average.
And how much do you say it will change the average?
I believe there are 2 days that she was unaccounted for, and it's 653, 119 is the average.
653.19.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we're talking about a difference of $7. I'll set it.
Your Honor, and the reason I realize
It's okay. It-
I'm being very particular because this number is very close to whether or not a
Whether a significant variance.
variance is included.
All right, so you're saying that it's Valentine's Day and what other day?
December 17th, there was a
164.80. How much do you say it should be?
653.19.
No, for
206, the full amount. There's
206.
They pay
okay.
per day. It's 41.20 a day.
And then,
Your Honor, if I could just interject something, if you look at exhibit 2,
mhm,
it has the actual payment for that day, that's not a projection, that was 164.80 there.
And I'm just getting this summary, so I apologize, Your Honor. I'm trying to go through them blind.
all right. So if I leave that one and I give her the Valentine's Day, so the difference of 206 and 164.80. $41.20. I take that off of your total. Is there any other disputes with this calculation
No,
besides
Your
the,
Honor, those are the only 2 that I thought were disputed.
so I get the actual total amount, if I give her credit for that day, is $7,714.70. Which is a monthly, that's not right. I did that wrong. I should add the 4120, not deduct, hold on. Right, so it should be $7,797.10. For a monthly total of $649.76. All right,
Your parenting plan has a right of first refusal, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you stated earlier that you were divorced in January of this year, correct?
20.
24, not this year, January of 24.
24, I apologize, Your Honor. And did Mr. Vitro ever use that right of first refusal?
He did,
Did he use it a significant amount?
yes.
What happened between January 28th and January 30th?
He, we use the app, our family wizard, and so he had messaged and requested, first right of refusal, and I accepted. And so the children were with me.
And March 30th through 31st, what happened?
Same thing, he requested through the app, and I accepted, and I cared for the kids.
And April 25th through 27th,
Same thing, requested through the app, I accepted, and I cared for our boys.
and July 31st through August 3rd,
Same thing,
and September 26th through 27th,
same thing,
and November 17th through 19th,
same thing,
and then December 1st through 7th.
yes, same thing.
How many days does that add up to? If you're including the pickup day?
If you're including the pickup day, it was 27.
All right, what I include in counting days is essentially overnights. Out of every 24-hour period, did you have more than 12 hours when you're including the overnight?
Yeah,
So how many days would that be?
If you took off the pickup day?
if you
how-
take off, I think it was 19.
So these were extra days that you were compensated for, that you weren't compensated for in the previous child support worksheet, correct?
You're good.
What is the current, are they 50-50?
They're 50-50.
And is the parenting plan currently 182.5, 182.5?
It is, Your Honor.
Did you ever request any days where he used the right of first refusal?
No,
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross-examination.
Ms. Welcome, going back to the pay stubs, do
Yes.
you look at these every month?
I mean, I pull them up, but I don't go through it.
But your pay is pretty consistent, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Well,
Did
yes, I-
you get more than $100 or $200 in your paycheck last December?
I tutor. I tutor in the mornings through
Okay.
Williamson County Schools, so that's probably why you see the tutoring supplement.
Oh, no, I understand that. Well, I'm asking, in the month of December, did you receive paychecks that exceeded $200?
We were given a bonus in December. I can't remember the exact
I
amount.
think what he's getting at, do you know how much money you received for your pay in December of 2024? And it was over $200.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Sorry, I didn't understand the
yeah,
question.
that's what he's getting at.
Okay.
No further questions, Your Honor. And I think we made it.
I think you did by like 3 minutes, unless,
If I could just
if
do a
we're
full
done.
summary,
I'll give you a minute and a half,
that's more than enough.
and then he can have a minute and a half. All right.
Your Honor, I believe,
Oh, hold on a minute. You can step in.
Oh, yes,
Thank you
I'm sorry.
very much for your time.
And Your Honor, when we looked at the worksheets, I believe the incomes are pretty straightforward. Mr. Petro doesn't dispute his W-2s. He says that was his income. There was no dispute by opposing counsel on that. I believe Ms. Balcom's income should be based on what we see on this pay stub. I can't explain the question you asked me, but by her own testimony, we know her total income, which for child support purposes is different than federal tax purposes, is consistent, and the $6,280.51 figure should be applied. Each of them have children from prior relationships.
What should I do about this 19 days? That's really where I have the question. I know what I'm gonna do on all the other
Yeah, and
input data.
yeah, Your Honor, it's the 19 days is an interesting question, and I know my client would say you shouldn't count it. I know why he says that, because in the plan, they agreed that those, any right of first refusal pursuant to section J, the other section would have no bearing on material change, et cetera.
Right.
It doesn't specify child support. But it does talk about how it's not a material change to modify parenting time or anything. And if it's not something that can be modified for parenting time, I think it's fair to say that it shouldn't be used to modify child support.
Except for the theory behind child support, the reason why we input the days is because, the theory, child support's based on both of their incomes, the studies and the percentages of if they were together, the percentage that they would spend. And it does, she is incurring additional expenses when we're looking at, I would do the 19 days and not the 27 of the overnights.
I think 19 would be where you would go if you were doing that. I would also just point out that when we're talking about childcare during this period, that cost is already paid for. So
Well, it's not childcare, it's food and.
I understand, but my point being that normally, if you don't have childcare paid in this manner, sometimes people pay for their own childcare. And when they do that, that's an additional and probably the most expensive extra expense you have watching children. The parties already pay for childcare start to finish when the children are in school. So when these children are in school, and I believe many of those days, if not all of them, overlapped periods of school time, the childcare expense is something that would decrease.
How much do you think your client would have to pay if wife didn't have, or ex-wife, mother didn't have right of first refusal? How much would he have to pay in a nanny to keep the kids?
Well, Your Honor, his parents were available to watch him every time, and he offered that when he told her, because he has to tell her that he's gonna be out of town. He offered that, but that's not how the right of first refusal
So
works.
you're still under oath. Were your parents available to care for the children if the mother was unable to?
Yes, and I
Right.
also stated that.
Just wait.
I stated that in the mails to her, stating that my parents are in town, if they would be able to watch it, but they were able to be here for that.
Right,
Sure.
Ms. Balcom, what is your position on this issue?
That is bad. They're not readily available for everything.
Were there just an occasion or two when he said the parents one time of the days? All right. And your children are little, right? Yeah, preschool and kindergarten. Okay. All right.
And then I would just say, Your Honor, since they both have minor children from other relationships and he has 50% time, I think both of them qualify for the in-home children status on the worksheet. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, my argument is simple. If you, even using his numbers and with all the credits in there regarding the other children and everything of that nature, if you add those 19 days, there's not a significant variance. She had to care for the children those days. She had to provide support for the children those days. And she didn't receive anything in return. And even again,
But should I add those 19 days? Because it's a right of first refusal.
I would say this, the parenting plan does state that it should not modify the parenting plan if the right of first refusal is used.
Let me see the parenting plan. I'd like to see that language, please. What's the state's position about how to handle these 19 days? You're the experts in child support.
Typically, Your Honor, regardless of what the parenting plan says, we typically count the days for child support purposes. However, discretion of the court would argue against it. But for child support purposes, even accumulation of days over a period of time can count towards an overnight visit.
And is that your policy, or do you know, is there any case law?
I believe there is.
Excellent. Excellent to hear. All right. All right, I'm ready to make a ruling.
Well, the only thing I would want to say, since you asked this question, is if we look at 36.5.101.8, the language in there mirrors the alimony statute, section N, 36.5.121N. The reason I say that is it talks about for child support and alimony, it says nothing in this section will prevent the parties from reaching an agreement on these matters. So if you think that language covers child support in section J1,
I don't think it does, because as I look at it, it says that nothing that this provision should not be used as a modification of father's parenting time, is what it says.
I understand. I'll finish the thought just since I started, but if it did cover it, Your Honor, then that agreement would have to be upheld because there's case law that specifically interpreted the exact language for the alimony and said, basically says contractual alimony is a thing in Tennessee now. So thank you.
All right. All right. So this is going to be the court's ruling with respect. I don't know about whether there's a significant change. I haven't provided any child support documents. I'm going to give you the input data points, and then you can determine what that number is and whether that means that it's a significant variance. With respect to Mr. Balcom's income, we're using the $245,081.02 annual gross. I didn't calculate that out for a monthly, but you can do that. For the cost of childcare, I'm modifying Mr. Vitro's amount just slightly to $649.76 per month. For the cost of insurance, it's $100 per month. For the wife's income, I am using Mr. Vitro's income of $6,280.51 per month.
I'm sorry, what was the number for what?
For whom?
For the mother, what was the number?
$6,280.51 per month. And I'm using that, and again, I'm finding, I don't know what the, it's just for the attorney's knowledge. I've never seen this before. I don't know what the difference is. I do see in the bottom that there is 14 other, $3,614.53 for retirement and $2,123.13 for health premiums. When I added that to her Medicare wages, I actually got a higher amount of income. I got 6,300 and something. It was closer to the 6,280. So I just don't know. I don't know what the explanation is, but I think that the best evidence is her pay stub through the end of November, we have a gross amount for her pay through the end of November and dividing by 11. And so that's how I came up when there's this conflict. I think that's the best indication or best use for her to establish her income. The 19 days. I haven't dealt with this issue before, so I'm unaware. So I'm going to make a ruling, but I'm going to give father leave within the next 15 days to file any case law that he may have to say that I'm incorrect. But I'm going to give her the 19 days on the days. So that means I'm going to give him 183. No, wait a minute. If I start him at 183, because I'm not going to do a half day. I'm going to start him at 183, start her at 182, and then shift 19 days over. So 182 plus the 19, that's what? 201? 201? All right, then that would mean he would have what, 164? And listen, I carried the one. I didn't do Singapore math and grouping, and look at that. Bam. Carrying the one still works, people. All right. So that's the number of days. They each, yes, he will get credit for the in-home child at 50%. Her other child should be on the worksheet as well. All right. Anything else that I need to make a ruling on for this case?
But I know you said file, but I have leave to file any case law that I possibly find as well. If I find something that supports
Sure.
it.
Sure. Yeah, but I would love to know. I've never dealt with this issue before, not in my practice nor as a judge. So,
You know, the only question I have on any further ruling is if there is a variance, is this retroactive to the time of filing this, or
when was it filed?
I think it was filed in May, Your Honor.
In May? Why is it taking so long to get till January to get here?
There was an additional civil contempt that was filed after, Your Honor, and that's kind of we will deal with that real quick after.
I don't feel like retroactive is appropriate in this case, since if there is a variance, it's going to be a result of these 19 days. And so I just don't feel that retroactive is appropriate in this case to come up with a big lump sum. This is January 29th. We'll have it effective beginning February 1.
No, just so we don't come back for any reason. He's gonna pay the current number on February 1, but since there's potential for argument, if it changed later on, we just put a blank.
Well, he's not going to pay the current number. Y'all should be able to determine right now how much his child support is. And so that's the number I expect him to pay February 1.
If there's no variance, it would just stay the current number.
Right. If there's no variance,
Okay.
it'll stay the current number.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't know if there's a variance or not.
We're still working on it.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And let me say this as well. It may be because I have been hit with some really poorly tried cases the last week, 2 weeks. I appreciate all the attorneys' professionalism and preparedness for trial, and your witness preparations, and you're not wasting the court's time. It was a very well-run hearing today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. This Staff, do you need a break before I start this 2 hour? I am going to go until approximately 11:50 today. I'll need to take a lunch break at 11:50 and then we'll come back at 1:15. So I think we should go ahead and well, Ms. Hefner, it's up to you. Do you want to be excused and come back at 1:15? Or do you want to go ahead and get started? I'm fine with that too. Do y'all need a break before we get started till 11:50? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As I said, I'll start back at 1:15. I'll break from lunch between them. Yes, sir.
Do like a really fast 2-3 minute.
I'll come back at 10:45 and we'll start back at 10:45 with our second hearing is which one did I say? Martin. Okay, our
Thank you,
second
Your Honor.
hearing's Martin. Thank you.